What's up everybody, Jameson here, and today we're going to talk about Ponzi schemes. Okay, so first I want to define what exactly this is, and I want to talk about how to protect yourself from falling for these things and how to incorporate the knowingness of a Ponzi scheme into your investment strategy when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So this is all about Ponzi schemes and cryptocurrencies. What is it? How do we stop it? How do we create an effective game plan to actually win in these situations? Because let's face it, there's a ton of money to be made in a Ponzi, especially in the crypto space. There's tons of these offers just coming and going, right? Now, first, let's start with the definition. Pulled up good old Investopedia, and let's go through the definition of a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investing scam promising high rates of return with little risk to investors, okay? Now, I consider this pretty similar. Like, the rules and regulations have changed quite a bit since the 80s and 90s, but let's face it, when a new stock comes out, whether it's a penny stock or a Fortune 500 company, a stockbroker's job is to pump it up and hype it up. Now, there's not really a whole lot of rules around what they can and can't say. There is, but in a broad scheme of things, not really. So that's just like, that's hype, promising high returns. Everything gets hyped nowadays. You notice that, right? Like, the rules have really just kind of like started to wash away of what people can say this will do or that can do. You look at a lot of typical MLMs and a lot of newer opportunities that come out, and they're promising that it can cure cancer, it's gonna save the world, the whales, the babies, everybody's gonna get saved on these things. And we all know that chances are that the claims that they're making isn't as great as the actual return that will occur with this product or service, right? Okay, so the Ponzi scheme generates returns for older investors by acquiring new investors. Now again, this isn't that clear as well, because that's no different than a Series A and B and C and different funding rounds that a startup would go through. Now, after the startup gets the first round of funding, the next goal and the next job in the next round of investment is that all the core investors get their principal back if they haven't already. Now, there's a big caveat to this. I'm not trying to say that this is, all I'm trying to say is that this is a really crappy definition, but I'll get to my point in just a second. This is similar to a pyramid scheme in that both are based on using new investors' funds to pay for earlier backers. Okay. Understand that with a pyramid scheme, the only revenue source is getting new investors to come in and end up paying back the old investors. So it works up, but it also compounds so much that by like very few levels down, what's required is so much that that's why they all fall apart very quickly. A Ponzi scheme doesn't last that long. It's not supposed to. It doesn't last more than 3 to 6 months on average. Most of them fall apart in the first 30 days. So know that going into it. I just think this is a really crappy definition of a Ponzi scheme, and people go around throwing that word around way too often. What actually triggered this video is I was filtering YouTube comments on the Crypto J channel, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, hey, this is a Ponzi scheme, isn't it?" And I don't know why I adapt the New York accent immediately, but he thought that what I was talking about with, because if you're new to the channel, then you need to go watch some other videos. But if you're already a part of the community, then I talk about, when it comes to trading bots, I talk about BitConnect, USI Tech, and Control Finance a lot. And he's just looked at it, must have seen that, 1% trading, 1% investment on the trading bot every single day. Oh, that's a scam. That's a Ponzi scheme. Now, a Ponzi scheme and a scam are a lot different, even though those words are used interchangeably and people just bleh. Whatever they feel like calling it, that's what it is. But a Ponzi scheme, a true Ponzi scheme, doesn't really last that long. So BitConnect actually doing an ICO and actually being a cryptocurrency would have never lasted as long as it is now if it was a Ponzi. Now, could it be a scam? Yeah, absolutely. And it might just disappear. Somebody could hack the platform and pump a bunch of the BitConnect coin out and then completely crash the system and destroy the cryptocurrency. And it could go away just as quick as it's been here, but it has been here over a year. So I think that is a lot better to say than a lot of these other ones that come and go and fly by night. Now, I'll talk more about the depths and details of this in just a second, but you gotta know what a Ponzi scheme is before you can even call something a Ponzi scheme. I didn't know until I actually Googled it to shoot this video, so now I'm more informed as well. Do I believe that, especially the big three, the three kings that I've been talking about, Control Finance, USI Tech, and BitConnect, do I believe that they are Ponzi schemes? No, I don't. Do I believe that they'll be around forever? No, I also don't believe that. So how do you navigate that space in between? Because I feel like people will avoid stuff based on the fear, and then they'll jump overly aggressive into it based on excitement. We need to find and land somewhere right in the middle, because if we don't, we risk losing our life savings. And if we go the other way and say, oh, this, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a scam, we risk not making and losing out on a ton of opportunity. Now, even if these all turn out to be scams, between now and the time that they stop operating and they go away, there's a ton of money to be made. And I want to make that crystal clear. And I'll be shooting more videos about how you should really treat and look at these things in the future. But the thing I want to talk about today is just a couple key points that you can use and leverage to make smarter decisions within these opportunities. Because we have no idea. I'm not a part of BitConnect or any of the other ones. I have no idea how long they'll be around or how long they'll last. And so I think because there is so much volatility just within what these are, that creates a lot of fear and that creates a lot of hesitation. So first and foremost, we have to diversify, okay? If we diversify our investment portfolio when it comes to cryptocurrency, we mitigate loss, okay? We now manage the amount of loss that we could have at any one section in any one piece, okay? If I were to just come in and dump $100,000 into BitConnect, if BitConnect goes away tomorrow, I just lost everything, didn't I? So that strategy that I see happening very, very often with these trading bots scares the shit out of me, because these people are completely crazy and out of their mind with this. If you're gonna take every last penny that you've got and dump it into then one platform, you're an idiot, okay? Mark my words. Yes, you're an idiot. So a smarter way to do it would be to, you only wanna invest, there's this saying, right? You only invest what you can afford to lose. I don't think you should really take that approach at all. I don't think you should take the approach of like, oh, I'm willing to just lose this. Because like, what are you really opening yourself up to? You're opening yourself up to like really arrogant decisions and really arrogant investing strategy, because it's like, yeah, just it anyway. You should care about every penny and every dollar that you've got. I think that's just wise. But putting it all into one place, not a good idea. So I think a combination of staking coin that's consistent, like the Bitcoin is like the gold standard at this point, that's been around for a very long time in the cryptocurrency space. Like just holding Bitcoin, you're already ahead of like 99% of the population. Hold Bitcoin, stake, hold, stake, same thing. And do that with other popular currencies, like Ethereum is on the rise, Litecoin is looking good, Dash is decent, Monero is up and down, but these different coins, by spreading out the amount of money that I'm holding in each one, that mitigates my risk, doesn't it? These trading bots should only take a small percentage of your actual overall investment strategy with cryptocurrencies. The rest of it should be separated between staking and holding, and then you can even get into trading where you're riding these little waves that are occurring and grabbing skim and float money off the top, and then rolling that back into other investment platforms. And I will say this too, if you're gonna get involved with these trading bots, then create a sub-strategy within that. Like, I'll give you a couple. Is if you put up $5,000 or $10,000, then some people, their strategy is to immediately rob out all the interest every single day because I'm trying to recoup my principal cost, my principal payment with the interest that I'm making every single day. That's a pretty good strategy, but you'll actually get to the principal payment faster if you just reinvest for like a span of 30 to 60 days. And so if I'm just reinvesting everything every single day, then I'm actually getting back to being able to pull up my core principal payment faster. That $5,000 or $10,000, I'll get to that faster the more I actually reinvest the interest every single day. But again, apples and oranges, investment strategy is going to range based on who and how you're operating with this. But I'll say that overall, Nobody has any clue how long these will last, okay? BitConnect has chosen to be completely hidden, and they don't want you to know. The owners, Control Finance, has this phantom office in the UK that's not real, or maybe that's BitConnect. I don't even know, and I don't give a shit. Because at the end of the day, I am diversifying and mitigating that risk. The second thing that I'm doing is I'm using logic, okay? Using logic instead of falling for the hundreds of cognitive fallacies and biases that exist that affect our decision-making abilities. You can't fall for that. You have to stay clear-headed and look at things very black and white, like Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett do. That's why they don't really lose, because they don't fall for all the hoopla and the bullshit that most other people fall for. Like, I would be willing to bet that most, if they're invested in cryptocurrency at all, which I would assume that they are heavily, I would assume that they are investing into the back-end infrastructure, they're holding Bitcoin, and they're doing long-term plays like that. They're not probably involved in trading bots at all because it's too volatile for them, okay? And that's not them. That's not the type of people that they are. They're also up there in age. So those things, again, as you grow in age as an individual and you already have a working system and things that work, you're less likely to change. You're less likely to get in on, well, let's call it impulse or something that's brand new and fresh. It's going to take a lot longer to persuade you to do that. So we can assume that they're not that involved in these things, okay? The next thing I want to note is to remember the idiots, okay? With BitConnect, with Control Finance, with USI Tech, guess what? They all look like MLMs. Whether or not they are or call themselves an MLM, I don't know and I don't care. But because they look like one and they call it tiers and uplines and teams and recruiting, it pulls in network marketers. Network marketers I don't like because most of them are stupid. Most of them will go out and make obnoxious claims about what the product or service will do, and they will single-handedly help destroy that opportunity. And next thing you know, it gets shut down by the government, or it gets, it gets seized up, which is probably why companies like BitConnect and Control Finance choose to stay anonymous instead of posting everywhere about who the founders and who the team is, okay? Also, to understand that these aren't traditional utilities. So the BitConnect coin isn't associated with this amazing utility that's out there changing the world. It's just associated with a community education platform and a trading software itself. Same with USI Tech, same with Control Finance. They are trading platforms that trade cryptocurrency based on the volatility of cryptocurrency itself. So you are staking and getting involved with a trading platform. That's it. That's all it is. So it's better than it just being a typical contract or smart contract in the mining community, but it's not that great. Like, it doesn't offer that much. It's just a piece of paper, essentially, that says, hey, you should trust in us because we figured out how to trade this better than you. All right, that'd be no different than trusting a hedge fund that said, hey, we've come out and gotten this sort of result. You should pledge your money to us so we can go out and invest it for you. Those usually have a better track record. You can meet somebody face to face, so they're different in those aspects, but very similar from the standpoint that all we're doing and all you're buying into is trading, a trading platform, not an exchange, excuse me, a trading platform itself. So they have a bot, they have something that is proprietary, that they've gone out and figured out how to skim the markets and make money off of that. I would stay anonymous as well. I gotta say that much. If I own BitConnect, I would stay anonymous. My advice is really just to diversify, to continue to work with a logical frame of mind. Remember that if it looks like an MLM, smells like an MLM, then most MLMers will get involved in it and they will completely destroy that opportunity in a certain amount of time. There's very few that have lasted. And so you need to recognize that and be real with yourself that the opportunity will probably not last. So what's my plan? How do I plan on getting in and getting out and making great money? And if I don't want to deal with that at all, then don't get involved. Don't play the game. Just sit on the sidelines and just watch. But also too, don't waste your energy. Like, don't jump in the comment section and start defending your beliefs and, trying to convince everybody else that they should believe the same shit that you do. Who cares? Go on with your thing. Go do your life. Go do you, right? And if you want to get involved, then understand the risks up front and start to make a smart strategy to mitigate your loss and mitigate your risk. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're wondering what the shirt says, it says put in the work. Because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save you. You have to be held accountable to yourself. The commitments that you make, the decisions that you make, nobody's gonna come and save you. You can't blame anybody else for your actions. You have to take full responsibility, my friends. Anyways, that's it for now with this training video. Subscribe if you like what we're doing here and you like the message that we're sending out. Be sure to share this with friends and family that you think it'll help, because we'll have more content videos coming your way very soon, my friends. Much love.